Chapter 10 is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. Father Dubay starts to lay out the concrete details of what voluntary poverty looks like for each of us. And of course, the gospel is the same for all, no matter what our state in life, no matter our resources. But we're still not all called to the same thing. We're all called to follow the gospel, but each of us are supposed to live it out in our own concrete circumstances. And we can see this in the diversity in the lives of the saints. And these diversities aren't a contradiction to one another, they're complementary to one another. So, with this in mind, Father Dubay says that there are three levels of voluntary poverty. We are all called to level one. Many of us are called to at least part of level two, and a few of us might be called to level three. And even within these levels, not every example that Father Dubay gives should be literally copied by each and every person. We're still called to discern how to live out whatever level of voluntary poverty we're called to. So in level one, we're called to have a correct motivation. And that means that we really have to use everything we have for the service of God and our neighbor, not for themselves. We have to see created things as a means to an end instead of seeing them as an end in and of themselves. We're all called to work for our living because we're not supposed to be idle, as St. Paul says. I think this is an interesting one, thinking about the value of work for the human person. It's how we express our mission and how we develop ourselves. When God put Adam and Eve in the garden, they were told to till the garden. And after the fall, work became painful, but work was going to be there even before the fall. It's part of who we are and what we're called to be. We're supposed to share to equality with others. As Father Dubay points out, this is very radical, but it's logically called for by the message of the gospel. If we love others as ourselves, then we'll share our goods equally with them. Father Dubay doesn't give many details about how the sharing to equality is supposed to work. Obviously, if one middle class individual decided to share to equality with 100 destitute people, they'd all be destitute. And Father Dubay says that most of us are not supposed to embrace destitution. My suggestion is that we should try to ensure that we are living at or below the global average standard of living, the level that everyone could be living at if all resources were shared equally. In fact, I think we should try to aim for something a little below the global average, since current global consumption of resources is probably unsustainable in the long run. We're called to avoid anything superfluous. We're to give away anything that is not necessary. And we're to be content with a simple life and to avoid vanity. For most of us, style and fashion are unnecessary. Those things are not supposed to matter. We're on our way to heaven. We're not supposed to care about dressing ourselves up to look better in the eyes of others. So that's all in level one. Level two goes beyond that by sometimes giving up not just what is superfluous, but what is necessary for the sake of others. Father Dubay gives the example of turning down the thermostat or turning it off. And this is because sometimes we might be called on to give up lesser needs that the greater needs of others can be met. And level two also includes begging for the poor so we can serve them, going and begging for money on their behalf, and also poverty just short of destitution. And level three is what only a few are called to, which is embracing destitution for the sake of solidarity with the destitute. Just as Jesus came in solidarity with the human race, suffered and died for and with us, some Christians are called to embrace destitution for the sake of solidarity with the destitute. But, as Father Dubay said, only a few are called to level three. And again, there's still room for a lot of discernment within these parameters that are given. Going back to level one, a lot hinges on the definition of the word necessity. If we're supposed to give up everything superfluous and to keep only what is necessary, the obvious question becomes, what is necessary? Father Dubay will answer this question in the next chapter.